very pleasant day to you and welcome to Top Stories on Ogama TV. First to bring you the headlines. On nations, federal government distributes over 515,000 fertilizer bags to boost food security. And on security, very dark man and others protest in Oyo, demand rescue of adopted school children and teachers. And on state, Enugu governor receives Ozala leaders Idodo zone endorses continued leadership. And on the foreign scene, G7 reaffirms support for Ukraine, calls for peace in Middle East. And on business, CBN orders banks, fintechs to disclose owners, enforces new payment market rules. And on sports, Mbappe becomes France's all-time top scorer as Les Bleus beat Senegal 3-1. Bringing you the news is Precious Chikowa. Now the news in detail. The federal government has commenced the nationwide distribution of 515,720 bags of urea and NPK fertilizers to 128,930 smallholders farmers across 25 states and the Federal Capital Territory as part of effort to boost food production and strengthening food security. Vice President Kashim Shettima, represented by the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, flagged off the distribution under the National Agricultural Development Fund's Renewed Hope Farm Input Support Program. He said the initiative is designed to reduce production costs, increase crop yields, and improve the livelihood of rural farmers. The government added that the program will be closely monitored to ensure transparency and measurable improvement in agricultural productivity across the country. And away from that story, popular social media activist Martins Vincent Otte, popularly known as Very Dark Man, alongside concerned citizens, staged a protest in Oyo State demanding the immediate rescue of school children and teachers recently abducted by suspected kidnappers. The protesters called on security agents to intensify efforts towards securing the safe and unconditional release of the victims. Carrying placards and chanting solidarity songs, the demonstrators expressed concern over growing insecurity affecting schools and communities, stressing that the safety of children and educators must remain a national priority. Moving forward to states, the governor of Enugu State says there is a profound sense of responsibility and gratitude in the trust and support shown by the people he serves. He made this known while receiving leaders and community members from Ozala on a courtesy visit where they offered prayers, words of encouragement, and expressed solidarity with his administration. The governor described the visit as a reminder that true leadership is strengthened by the bond between government and the people, built on shared hopes and a collective vision for development. He also acknowledged the endorsement and support from his people in the Idodo zone of Amakano, describing it as a significant affirmation from those familiar with his journey and growth. According to him, such confidence strengthens his commitment to continue serving India Enugu with dedication, integrity, and measurable results. He affirmed his administration's resolve to build a better future for the state under the vision of tomorrow is here. And on the foreign scene, the 52nd G7 summit in France has ended with leaders reaffirming their support for Ukraine and addressing key security concerns in the Middle East and Indo-Pacific regions. In a joint statement issued on Wednesday, the G7 pledged continued military and economic support for Ukraine, including additional air defense system, long-range capabilities, and measures aimed at strengthening the country's energy, resilience, and defense production. The bloc also welcomed reports of a new agreement between the United States and Iran, describing it as an important step towards preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons and promoting stability in the region. On the Middle East, G7 leaders called for an immediate ceasefire in Lebanon, an end to violence in the West Bank, and increased humanitarian and reconstruction support for Gaza. The leaders further reaffirmed their opposition to unilateral actions in the East and South China Seas and across the Taiwan Strait, urging peaceful resolution to disputes through dialogue. The summit concluded with a renewed commitment to global security, diplomacy, and international cooperation. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we bring you business and sports. Stay with us. Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, you're listening to Top Stories on Ogama TV. Now to the rest of the news. On business, Central Bank of Nigeria has directed banks, fintechs and other payment service providers to disclose their ultimate beneficial owners, localize all payment transaction data, and comply with new market share limits aimed at reducing concentration risk in the financial system. The directive contained in a circular dated June 15, 2026 and signed by the Director of the Payment Systems Provision Department, Dr. Rakel Yusuf, represents a major regulatory intervention in Nigeria's fast-growing digital payment sector. Under the new framework, all affected institutions are required to declare the ownership structure of significant shareholders and maintain accurate records for regulatory review. The CBN also mandated that all payment transaction data generated in Nigeria must be stored locally, with full compliance expected by January 1, 2027. In addition, the Apex Bank introduced market structure rules limiting dominance across payment segments, restricting institutions with over 25% market shares in one segment from exceeding 15% in another related segment. The central bank said the measures are designed to improve transparency, strengthen oversight, promote competition, and reduce systematic risk within the payment ecosystem. And in the world of sports, Kylian Mbappe has become France's all-time leading goal scorer after scoring twice in a 3-1 victory over Senegal in the 2026 FIFA World Cup Group 1 match at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. The Real Madrid forward, age 27, took his international tally to 58 goals, surpassing Olivier Giroud's previous record of 57. Bradley Barcola also got in the score sheet as France secured a dominant win to go top of Group 1 with 3 points. Midfielder Michael Olise played a key creative role in the second half as France took control of the match after a tightly contested first period. Senegal created several chances, including a shot that struck the post and a few missed opportunities, but were unable to prevent France from pulling away after the break. The result strengthens France's position in the group while Mbappe moves closer to Miroslav Klose's all-time World Cup scoring record. We'll now bring you the highlights of the story on the bulletin so far. We brought to you that federal government distributes over 515,000 fertilizer bags to boost food security. And on security, Very Dark Man and others protest in Oyo demand rescue of adopted school children and teachers. And on state, Enugu governor receives Ozala leaders, Ido Zone endorses continued leadership. And on foreign scene, G7 reaffirms support for Ukraine, calls for peace in Middle East. And on business, CBN orders banks, fintech to disclose owners, enforces new payment market rules. And on sports, Mbappe becomes France's all-time top scorer as Les Bleus beat Senegal 3-1. That's all of the news this hour. For more updates and breaking news, don't forget to follow us on our socials. Facebook at Ogama TV, Instagram at Ogama TV1, on X at Ogama TV, YouTube at Ogama TV. Also visit our website at www.ogamatv.com. I am Precious Chokowa. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.
When you think of online TV and radio, broadcasting, media consultancy, event coverage, event management and planning, there's no better name than Ogama TV. But that's not all. We're also into photo studio and coverage, equipment rental, news blogging, fashion and pageantry. We are at number 5/21 Chime Avenue, beside Open Sheraton Restaurant, New Haven, Enugu. Follow us on our social media handles: Facebook at Ogama TV, Instagram at Ogama TV1, Twitter at Ogama TV, website www.ogamatv.com. You can also send us email at ogamatv@gmail.com. Ogama TV, your one-stop media solution.